HOA tried to fine him for his lawn. They didn't know he wrote the rules. Welcome to my channel, where we share with you the most amazing videos from around the internet. Give this video a thumbs up, and let's get into it. Michael is a super proud American patriot. He also happens to be an ex-police officer and current writer for a major news network. Michael moved to Florida when he was just 20 years old. It was there that he met his wife of 36 years and raised a family. After retiring, he decided to settle down in his own place and bought a house in the Sun City Center. And then everything went south. Michael had always been drawn to living the quiet life in the suburbs. But when he found out about the Homeowners Association of the Kings Point South community in Sun City Center, Florida, he started having second thoughts. When he toured the neighborhood, he noticed manicured lawns, pristine golf carts, and smiling faces. In his mind, he could already see himself enjoying his retirement here, so he bought the home. After moving in, Michael tried to get involved in the HOA, but found that they were rather exclusive. Every time he attended a meeting, he would only be allowed to speak on certain agenda items. He thought it was a bit weird, but let it slide. However, after a while, he realized he wasn't even allowed to speak during those allotted times. This made him start questioning the HOA's motives. Did they not want his input? Was there something shady going on? He didn't know. One day, Michael decided enough was enough, and he wanted answers. He requested a copy of the rules and regulations from the HOA after reviewing the documents. He felt like he was being watched every minute of every day. The HOA handbook was very detailed and covered everything from parking your car in your driveway to what type of shrubbery you could have along your property line. At first, he thought it was just one of those overbearing HOA communities. But then he noticed something strange. A lot of the guidelines and restrictions in the book weren't actually legally binding. He felt like he was living under some sort of dictatorship. But the thing that bothered him the most was the rule about lawn maintenance. It stated that all grass must be kept at a height of no more than 4 inches. And if any resident violated this rule, they would be fined $25 now. Michael wasn't a stickler for rules, but he also wasn't a rebel without a cause. He just liked to do things how he wanted to. He figured he'd just cut his grass whenever he wanted and deal with the consequences later. He didn't think much of it. A few weeks later, he got a warning letter from the HOA stating that his grass was too tall and he needed to get it cut. Michael simply ignored the letter and continued doing his own thing. Soon enough, he received another letter saying that his grass was still too long and that he was in violation of the rules. It went on to say that if he didn't get his lawn fixed by the end of the month, he would be fined $25. Once again, Michael chose to ignore the letter. He was getting sick and tired of the HOA breathing down his neck all the time. Meanwhile, the grass continued growing and eventually reached a height of 8 inches. That's when Michael decided to take matters into his own hands. He wrote a strongly worded letter back to the HOA, explaining that they don't have the authority to dictate how high his grass can grow, and demanding that they remove the offending passage from their handbook immediately. The HOA was furious, and they responded by fining Michael $25 for violating their lawn height regulations. Once again, Michael chose to ignore the fine and continued on as per usual. He knew that he wasn't doing anything wrong, and he was confident that the HOA wouldn't do anything to him. The HOA was out of options, and they needed to come up with a new plan. They sent out a certified letter to Michael stating that he had 30 days to pay the fine, or else they would take further action. But Michael didn't budge. He refused to pay the fine and continued to let his grass grow. The HOA was desperate, and they were getting close to their breaking point. They sent out one last letter to Michael, giving him a final warning. But little did they know that this would be the last straw. The judge ordered the HOA to remove the offending passage from their handbook and to pay Michael's legal fees. HOA tried to appeal the decision, but it was denied and they were forced to comply. In the end, Michael won the case, and he was able to keep his grass as tall or as short as he wanted to. The HOA lost power over their residents, and they had to listen to their concerns. From that day forward, the residents of Kings Point South knew that they could just do whatever they wanted without facing consequences. The power dynamic between the HOA and the residents shifted, and the HOA became more reasonable with their restrictions. As for Michael, he continued to let his grass grow tall and proud, a symbol of his victory over the oppressive HOA. He knew that he had made a difference, and that other residents would benefit from his hard-fought victory. Wow, we hope you enjoyed this video. Please share it with your friends. Also, don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss out on our latest videos. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time. His neighbor, Ronald Reagan, always kept his lawn short and neat, which was perfect for the Neighborhood Watch program. They were able to spot anyone suspicious in the area quickly. But when Michael moved in next door, he stopped cutting his grass altogether. Within months, his once neatly manicured lawn was now overgrown and unkempt. The other neighbors didn't really care at first, but soon enough it started becoming a nuisance. The tall grass attracted snakes, rodents, and other pests. They also noticed that the grass was starting to creep onto the sidewalk and street, making it hard for people to walk or drive through. Several complaints were lodged with the HOA, but nothing was done about it. They had tried talking to Michael about cutting his grass, but he refused to listen. The situation got worse and worse until finally someone took matters into their own hands. One day, while Michael was out running errands, his neighbors got together and decided to cut his grass for him. They didn't want to be confrontational, so they did it without telling him. But when Michael came home and saw what they had done, he was furious. He confronted them and demanded that they apologize and pay for a new lawn. They refused, though saying that they were doing him a favor and that he should be grateful. Michael was outraged and decided to take matters into his own hands. He researched local ordinances and found out that there was a law requiring residents to keep their grass at a certain height. He decided to use this law to his advantage. Michael went to the city council meeting and demanded that the council enforce the ordinance against his neighbors. The council agreed, and soon enough, his neighbors were fined for violating the law. They were shocked and angry, but there was nothing they could do about it. Michael had used the system to get revenge on them, and he was happy with the outcome. From that day forward, Michael's neighbors never messed with him again. They left him alone, and he never had to worry about them cutting his grass again.